You're listening to KPFT Houston, 90.1 on the dial. If you're down in Galveston, pick us up at 89.5, and our friends up in the piney woods of East Texas, 91.9. It is time for Songwriter Studio. I'm your host, Tom Tranchilla, along with Lloyd Daniel, our engineer, doing what he does best week after week and allowing us his space here at Songwriter Studios. Thank you, Lloyd, for all you do. It is our pleasure to bring local artist Cheryl Cawood into the KPFT studios. Cheryl, you have a brand new album out. Thanks for coming in and spending an hour with us.
Man, thanks so much for the invite. I am thrilled to be here today.
Yeah,
yes, I have a new album.
An album we just featured not too long ago, 4 or 5 months ago. Your last release prior to the brand new release. And we will be playing cuts off of, is it Love, Pearl?
Yes.
Yes, we've got excellent album. We featured 3 or 4 of the tracks off of that record in a variety show just not too long ago. And then you came out with this brand new album, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. Jack Saunders recorded, produced, and all over the record as far as instruments. I'm sure you loved working with Jack. Tell us a little bit about you and Jack's relationship in the studio.
Absolutely. Love working with Jack. My goodness. I met Jack around 2017 when I came into the studio with the local band Kickin' It Dixie, and we wanted to do a group project. And so we went to Jack and we played the instruments on the CD, etc., kind of a rockabilly feel. While I was there, of course, I get to know Jack. Believe it or not, I did not know who Jack Saunders was prior to that. And then I went to one of his shows at the Mucky Duck and thought I was going to die, because of his extreme talent, etc. So we talked about doing some of my other originals that didn't quite fit the rockabilly feel that the band had. I wanted to do my own project, and thus there came Love, Pearl.
Jack's had the White Cat Studios in the Houston Heights for decades, and I did not know till today. You had mentioned Jack's moving out of town. He's moving his studio up to the Austin area. So, Jack, you will be missed. I've been in his studio numerous times, and I can't tell you how many records came out of his studio that were featured here at KPFT. And Jack, we love you. We miss you. We will miss you for sure. So stay in touch. The brand new album, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and kick off with the title track. Let the listening audience know a little bit about Bullet in the Cabin Wall.
All right. The entire CD is something I've wanted to do for a while, and it's me giving tribute to my roots in eastern Kentucky and the Appalachian region, period. So I didn't want it to be bluegrass. I wanted it to be more folk-based. I'm pretty folky, but there's a little bit of a Americana feel to it as well. So I just wanted to recognize where I come from and appreciate.
You did kind of mix this up. You've got some borderline bluegrass tracks on the brand new album as well, like you said, folk and other crossover genre music on here, and we're going to be touching on all that. Let's go ahead and start the show out with Bullet in the Cabin Wall. This is the title track, Cheryl Cawood.
John built his cabin at the holler's mouth. Times were rough in Kentucky South. There was no law, no rules way back then. Those hills were run by the county clans. We'll see Howard made Rogue Applejack. He stood accused with no proof or fact. The judge axed all the barrels in the the earth and ground. 100 miles away from the sound of any train, both sides retaliate, men unafraid, willing to kill for control of the whiskey trade. Wilsey sent word for folks to leave town. He's gonna burn the whole place down. John chose to ride on a vengeance train. He joined the Turner Law and Order gang. Wilsey's men rode to the Cawood cabin. They laid in wait like cold assassins. They ambushed John, used deadly guns. Not one of them hung for the things they done. 100 miles away from the sound of any train, both sides retaliate, men unafraid, willing to kill for control of the whiskey trade, willing to kill for control. Tales of youth seem so tall till you see the bullet in the cabin wall.
The title track, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. Willing to kill for control of the whiskey trade. This is sort of a biography, is it not? Why don't you explain to the listening audience?
Yes, my family settled in a little tiny town called Cawood, Kentucky, which is obviously my name. My great-great-grandfather, John Cawood, built the cabin, and that's where the bullet hole was when we were kids. They told us about it, you know, because it was still there, the original cabin. It's been gone about 15 years now. But, yeah, they were at odds with the whiskey because it was all about tax. Did they want to tax it or sell it bootleg? And that was the conflict. And several other people were killed. Some of the Hall boys were killed, and another Cawood was killed in the feud.
They could make a movie about this, couldn't they?
Heck yeah. It's fascinating.
Now, I read that this was originally indigenous to the Cherokee Indian tribe. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I don't really know a whole lot about it. I've researched online, and I do find that there was an Indian woman who we are genetically connected to, but no one can find proof yet, even with Ancestry.com, etc. But, you know, my daddy collected arrowheads on the property, etc. It's just something known in the area.
If you're just tuning in, Cheryl Cawood is our guest on Songwriter Studio, and we just finished our Summer Sizzle pledge drive, and thank you all for donating to the radio station and this show, Songwriter Studio. We did end up short, so if you feel it in your heart to help us out, get into that new building that we purchased. Sandy Wyman is working his tail off to get us set up and get us into our new location. Please pick up that phone and shoot us some of your spare change at 713-526-5738. Make sure that money comes to Songwriter Studio so we can continue to support the independent artists. Let's move on with Cheryl Cawood's brand new album, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. The next track also features Jack playing banjo and mandolin. This is a great song called L&N Don't Stop Here. Go ahead. Explain to the listening audience what this is.
This song is actually written by Jeannie Ritchie, who was the first woman inducted into the Folk Hall of Fame from that region. And this is a song that she wrote. I think she maybe recorded it with a zither first. Her version doesn't sound anything like mine, of course. I was driving down to the home place with my daughters in the car one time, and that song came on the radio, and I just froze in my tracks. You know that feeling? I said, oh my gosh. Most of my shows, I do that song. I just felt connection with it. So I wanted to include that on my album. If I felt connected, I would think other people from the region did too.
Yeah, and I did notice you have a real good mix. You wrote most of the songs. You've got co-writes on here, and you did a couple of covers. One of them is an old friend of not only me, but the KPFT station, Tim Henderson. We're going to get to that track in a little bit, but first, let's listen to track number 2, L&N Don't Stop Here. Brand new music, Cheryl Cawood.
Said, son, you go to school and you learn your letters. Don't be no dusty miner like me. I used to think my daddy was a black man with script enough to buy the company store. And now he goes downtown with his pockets empty. His face is white as February snow. Well, I was born and raised in the mouth of Hazard Holler, with the coal corns roaring and a rumbling by my door. And now they stand in a rusty row all empty. The L&N don't stop here anymore. Last night I dreamed I went down to the coal yard to get my payday like I'd done before. That old kudzu vine was growing around the doorway. There was grass and trees growing through the floor. I was born and raised in the mouth of Hazard Holler, with the coal corns roaring and a rumbling by my door. And now they stand in a rusty row all empty. The L&N don't stop here anymore. Never thought I'd live to learn to love the coal dust. I never thought I'd pray to hear that tipple roar. But how I wish that grass would turn to money and greenbacks filled my pockets once more. I was born and raised in the mouth of Hazard Holler, with the coal cars roaring and a rumbling by my door. And now they stand in a rusty row all empty. The L&N don't stop here anymore. Never thought I'd live to learn to love the coal dust. And the L&N don't stop here anymore.
The L&N Don't Stop Here. Of course, we were discussing while that track was going. It's the old L&N Railroad coal train, which don't stop here anymore. You told me you just had a CD release party down in Galveston at the famous Old Quarter. I understand Rex sold the place. Is that true?
Yes. They're still very much involved, though, he and his wife Janet. Joel Mora and his wife Angela have now owned it.
That's good. Hopefully they will stay involved because it's been a staple of the Galveston Strand for many, many years. As was J.P. Hop's House, who went through a little problem here recently. Those of you who have not heard, J.P. Hop's House is the premier West Side Houston songwriter headquarters. Basically, the Houston Songwriter Association and the Nashville Songwriters branch here in Houston have always met there for decades. And they had a fire recently, unfortunately, did major damage to the building. I did talk to Pam. They are supposed to reopen when they get rebuilt. So please, if you can support J.P. Hop's House in any way possible, contact us, Songwriter Studio, and we will let you know how you can help them out financially, or maybe get your hands dirty and help clean that place up. Contact Pam Herndon or Jim Fowler. Let's talk a little bit more about the new album. We've got the next track queued up, Coalfield Woman, Tim Henderson track. Tim's been not only a guest on our show, but he passed a few years ago. Tim, we really miss you, buddy, and we'd like to thank your wife for keeping Tim Henderson's music alive and well. Tell us a little bit about your choice to record a Tim Henderson song.
Okay. Unfortunately, I did not have the pleasure of meeting Tim. He had passed before I came to my first SWRFA meeting. So I met Charlie Stewart while I was there, and he's the one that turned me on to Tim's music. He immediately saw the similarities with the way we write. And of course, I met his darling wife, Marion. I just saw that she talked to my sister yesterday about the lyric video that I just released 2 days ago. It's on my Facebook page, and it's this song, and she was thrilled to pieces. She said, we need to post this thing on all the folk sites everywhere. So she's still very much involved in Tim's music.
Marion, I haven't seen you in a while. I don't know if she will be at SWRFA this year. By the way, SWRFA is held every year in September, and the past couple of years has been virtual. They are going to be live, and I understand, Cheryl, you will be there this year promoting the new record and networking. And for those songwriters in the Houston area who are looking for a place to market their music, looking for a place to network, there are promoters there, there are radio people there, there are venue owners there, house concert, and 150 probably musicians from all over the country. I've even met people there from Europe and Australia. Google SWRFA, SWFRA, and is that right?
SWRFA.
SWRFA, I thought I got that wrong. Go to their website, register, and Dallas Allen, who has been the promoter of this and the executive director for many years, can hook you up, get registered. Again, it's the third weekend of September this year, so check that out. Let's go ahead and cue up Coalfield Woman and listen to this, written originally by Tim Henderson and recorded by Cheryl Cawood off the brand new album, Bullet in the Cabin Wall.
She was the daughter of a miner, and she wore a miner's song. All their kinfolk, they gathered round them, drinking loud and having fun. She put her maiden ways behind her, and she saw a woman's wine. He put on the yoke of manhood and went down into the mine, toiling unto generations, mixing mothers, milk and coal, kept the family cradle rocking, kept the family graveyard full, digging coal to fire a nation with corn lean and tall and fine, bringing presents home on payday, never talking about the mine, making do with too damn little. It'll become a way she bore the miner's son, silver hair and bent and wrinkled, and her time is nearly done. Lord, she's filled the field with crosses, and she's fair the picket line, and she sung the Rock of Ages for the love lost down the mine, for the love lost down the mine.
Coalfield Woman. Brand new music, Cheryl Cawood, off the new album, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. Yeah, this is definitely a bluegrass track, and Bluegrass Depot here at KPFT would like to get a hold of this. So see if you can't get a copy to our folks at the Bluegrass Depot and get some more airing on this brand new record. Let's talk a little bit about the next one we've got queued up, Ballad of Spade Cooley, and this is a co-write with Jack Saunders.
Yes.
How did you get with Jack and say, hey, let's write this together?
It's another Charlie Stewart attack. The podcast Cocaine and Rhinestones, he said, oh, you got to listen to this. So I listened to it. He said, oh, but when you get to the Spade Cooley episode, don't listen to that one. It's too hard. Well, you know what I did. I went right straight to the Spade Cooley episode.
Hint, hint.
And it's just gruesome. Just gruesome. So while I'm there at the studio with Jack, I'm like trying to hint at him like, hey, how about a co-write, you know? So I told him about the Spade Cooley episode. I said, would it be so cool to have a song, you know, about that? And so I said, let me send you the stuff. So I sent him the podcast and he listened to it. And so, yeah, he jumped right on it. He recorded it too, though he hasn't released it yet, his own version. Yes.
He thought highly of it
Yes.
if he decided to put it on his record as well.
Yes.
Jack, I'd already given him the kudos and the back slaps, but yeah, his instrumentation on all these cuts are just so superb. Go ahead.
It was his idea to write it from the perspective of the devil.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's listen to this track. Brand new music, Cheryl Cawood. The name of the new album is Bullet in the Cabin Wall. Co-write with Jack Saunders. This is Ballad of Spade Cooley.
I named you Spade and gave you a cold black heart, made your tongue from silver, a charmer from the start. Out of Oklahoma, from the Dust Bowl headed west, to your fame in California, with a fiddle on your chest. Along came a singer, sweet young Ella May. She had no idea what would become of her fate. You couldn't help yourself, you struck Miss Ella down, and there was no one anywhere to hold you to account. No one saw the irony when you sang Shame on You. You just flashed that golden smile and knew it wasn't true. I own your soul, yeah brother, that's a fact. I brought you here and I could take you back. They once called you the king of Western swing, but we both know that you are not the king of anything. Because I am the devil and I must have my due. You'll be just a falling star when I get through with you. One dark night in April, you were filled with hate. You killed sweet Ella May, a horror too grim to relate. And you made your daughter witness everything The sheriff of Kern County brought you in for questioning. No one saw the irony when you sang shame on you. You just flashed that golden smile and knew it wasn't true. I own your soul, yeah brother, that's a fact. I brought you here and I could take you back. Jury 19 hours and guilty's what they said, but they were torn in how they cried and kissed you on the head. In prison you found Jesus, it was a scoundrel's lie. I was convinced the governor would pardon you in time. On furlough you did fiddle one Sunday afternoon, and they all stood and cheered until you played another tune. You said this is the first day of the rest of my life, so I squeezed your cold dark heart. Then I turned out the light. No one saw the irony when you sang shame on you. You just flashed that golden smile and knew it wasn't true. I own your soul, yeah brother, that's a fact. I brought you here and I could take you back. I own your soul, yeah brother, that's a fact. I want you here, so I took you back.
Ballad of Spade Cooley off the brand new album Bullet in the Cabin Wall, with some haunting fiddle by Eleanor Whitmore, Steve Earles, and the Mastersons fiddle player. Long song, but it tells a great story. Why don't you let the listening audience know about how his end came about?
Yeah, Spade Cooley was a famous fiddle player back in the early 60s, and he was sentenced to prison for killing his wife, so it's a murder ballad. And Ronald Reagan was governor at the time, and he pardoned him to give one concert, we didn't know it was his last one, to give a concert. So he did one set, and he went backstage, Spade Cooley, and he put his hand on his chest and he said, "Today is the first day of the rest of my life." And he had a heart attack right then and there and dropped dead on the floor.
I'll be darned. That's wild. If you're just tuning in, Cheryl Cawood is our guest on Songwriter Studio, and like I said, we have ended our summer sizzle, but we do urge you, if you have not pledged to Songwriter Studio, we would really much appreciate $25, $50, whatever you can handle. Call up 713-526-5738. We've got all kinds of gifts we're offering, including the brand new KPFT t-shirts. We've got the new Tom Hartman book. We've got all kinds of Larry Winter's archived shows that are available on a thumb drive for minimal amounts. So please call in and make that pledge. Let's move on. The next track we've got queued up here is a traditional song, Shady Grove. And most bluegrass acts out there touring today still play Shady Grove. It's one of my favorite bluegrass songs of all time. Why did you decide to put this on the brand new record?
For every reason you just stated. It's a favorite. It's a favorite of mine. My family likes it too. So I thought while I'm paying tribute to my roots and my family, I will include one of my favorite. And a big shout out to Jack again on this one because I said, oh, let's listen to the Tom Petty version. But he said, no, I don't want to listen to any version because he's, producing this. So all of the intricacies are Jack.
Let's do our own version of it and our own arrangement of it. I think the first time I ever heard this song was Doc Watson's version, which has always been my favorite. But this is Cheryl Cawood's version off the brand new album, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. Let's listen to her arrangement of Shady Grove.
Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my darling, Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going back to Harlan. Cheeks as red as a blooming rose and hair the prettiest brown. She's the darling of my heart, she's the prettiest girl in town. I wish I had a big fine horse and corn to feed him on. Little Shady Grove could stay at home and feed him while I'm gone. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my darling, Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going back to Harlan. Little Shady Grove, she was standing in the door with her shoes and her stockings in her hand and her little bare feet on the floor. When I was a little boy, I had me a Barlow knife. Now all I want is Shady Grove to say she'll be my wife. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my darling, Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going back to Harlan. Pretty little Shady Grove, sweet as brandy wine. There ain't no girl in this whole world that's prettier than mine. I wish I had a banjo string made of golden twine. Every time I play on it, I wish that girl were mine. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my darling, Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going back to Harlan. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my darling, Shady Grove, my little love, going back to Harlan.
Listening to that track, all these different versions of that song has run through my head. I've heard Jerry Garcia do it. I've heard Norman Blake do it. I mentioned already Doc Watson and Tom Petty. And you've got all these bands that have paid homage to this song, and it's just, your version is excellent. You did them all well. So,
oh my goodness.
Compliments.
Thank you.
You wrote the next track with, co-wrote with Jack as well, Saunders. Let's talk about Running Out of Time.
Yes. This one is inspired by my father when he was spending his last years in a veterans nursing home. He told me that he didn't know if he was awake or asleep a lot of the time, and he would see himself as a young man again, running and running and running at home. And I come to find out that that's a thing that happens to older people. I'm not sure why. I've tried to Google it and look it up, but I haven't really found a good answer yet. Hopefully it's a good message.
And I think everybody that's in our age group and older and younger for that matter realize how precious time is, how time flies by, and before you know it, you're on your last years of this life, and take advantage of every moment we have. Yeah. Brand new music, Cheryl Cawood, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. Let's listen to Running Out of Time, co-written with Jack Saunders.
walking out of breath, iron shut in wrinkled hands, my legs have lost their strength. Minutes hound the hours, and hours grind the night. Can't tell if I'm awake or I'm asleep. I'm running in the hayfield below the old home place. When I run, I feel the wind blow across my face. I run like a stony creek below a mountain stream. I don't want you to wake me from this dream. 12 years old, running scared. The air is still like crawdad tail. The ground is loud with angry honeybees. I bolt like lightning down the trail to Jody's house on down the hill, to reach the shade beneath the apple trees. I'm running in the hayfield below the old home place. When I run, I feel the wind blow across my face. I run like a stony creek below a mountain stream. I don't want you to wake me from this dream. I run like a stony creek below a mountain stream. I don't want you to wake me from this dream. I want to run forever in my dream.
Running Out of Time, brand new music, Cheryl Cawood, with some really tasty mandolin and guitar work from co-write Jack Saunders. Jack, great job on this. We discussed earlier that you're leaving Houston, so good luck in your future endeavors. If you're just tuning in, Cheryl Cawood is our guest on Songwriter Studio, the brand new album, A Bullet in the Cabin Wall. Let's talk about the last track we've got queued up off of this record, Crossing Mountains. This was written by your former husband, Michael Bobbitt, who also plays piano on this track. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Michael wrote this song several years ago, and I fell in love with it and didn't realize that it would circle back around and I'd want to put it on an album. Of course, I didn't know I was going to do a tribute to my family. So he was thrilled to have it added as a cut. This is what Michael says about the song. He said, it's a metaphor of a man's journey of strife through life's obstacles, symbolized as mountains, to the promise of life with God in the heavenly city.
Beautiful. Let's listen to that track right now. And featuring writer and piano on this, Michael Bobbitt, off the brand new album, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. This is Cheryl Cawood.
Through the night, my load is heavy. The sight of Jesus is my goal. I walk this earthy wilderness trail. I'm crossing mountains for my soul. It waits for me. Trumpets call me to the throne. 12 gates of pearl are closed no more. My journey's ended, I've reached home. By the morning I will see those streets of gold. He promised me, the Savior says, at his right hand there'll be no mountains in that land. By the morning I will see those streets of gold. He promised me, the Savior sits at his right hand. There'll be no mountains in that land. There'll be no mountains in that land. There'll be no mountains in that land.
Crossing Mountains, brand new music, Cheryl Cawood, Bullet in the Cabin Wall. The name of the new album. If they want to order a copy, where do they go?
Oh, you can get it on my website, CherylCawood.com. Easy peasy. You can send me a message on Facebook. It's streaming everywhere. If you want a physical, just email me.
You're also handling the hard copies. If they come out to one of your shows, do you keep your schedule on the website?
I do.
Come out to the live show, they get an autographed copy, right?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. If you're just tuning in, Cheryl Cawood's been our guest on Songwriter Studio. And I do want to mention, you live down in the Galveston area. Richard Paul Thomas will be performing the Johnson House Concert Series down there. That's going to be August 27th, coming up at the end of this month. Johnson's always put up a bang-up house concert series. Every month, they are hosting concerts throughout the rest of the year. So contact Johnson Studio House Concerts. That email address for Pam and Jim is pjgalveston@gmail.com. Down in your neck of the woods there, Cheryl, have you been to the Johnson House Concert Series?
I have. I was thrilled to be the first house concert to sell out.
Oh, you performed?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Very good. Good to hear it. We've got a little time left. We have decided to choose a couple tracks off of your album you released a couple of years ago, Love Pearl. And we had featured these on one of our variety shows here earlier in the year. Let's talk about the first track we've got queued up, Fool's Moon. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lloyd Maines on this track.
Yes.
Playing some pedal steel.
Yes.
He does dynamite work. Tell us a little bit about how you got hooked up with Lloyd and talked him into performing on this record.
Eleanor Whitmore is also on this track. But, of course, Jack hooked me up with Lloyd. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Lloyd in person yet. So, not a whole lot of story for that.
Well,
but I'm thrilled to have him on my album.
We're hoping he'll be at Southwest Regional Folk Alliance. And he comes out there occasionally. He'll do a panel along with Terry Hendricks. I haven't heard word yet whether or not he will be there. But
I'd love
if he
to meet
is,
both of those folks.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
You will meet them if they're both there. Off the album released in 2019, Cheryl Cawood, Love Pearl is the name of the new record. The opening track, featuring Lloyd Maines, Fool's Moon.
Tonight's your card game with the boys. You say you'll be home sometime after 10. November's moon is on the rise. You're hanging with Billy and Roy. Not quite the truth, you're just gone again. You say that letter I found in your drawer was there before we were meeting kissed my cheek and drove away again last night. The wind blew cold like a winter storm, and love fades like the sun that's leaving from the evening sky. My life is gray, my heart is torn. Another fool's moon. Now that I've seen the light, I know the time is right. Time to get out of this awful mess, out from under this fool's moon, out from under this fool's moon.
Fool's Moon, off the second latest release by Cheryl Cawood, Love Pearl, featuring great pedal steel by Lloyd Maines and some really tasty fiddle by Eleanor Whitmore. Great song, great album. Like I said, we had featured this record a while back on one of our variety shows, and we've got one more track picked out. We're going to play off this. We're going to roll out the show with. Tell us a little bit about Outrun the Rain. You co-wrote this with Janet Bell, Rex Bell's wife. Go ahead.
Yes. Janet and I started a songwriter group down at the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe in Galveston, and we realized pretty soon that we had a very different kind of connection. Both of us had an adult child who was addicted to drugs. So unfortunately, Janet lost her son with that. My daughter did survive, etc. Actually, I had two daughters caught up in this, and thank goodness they're both 7 years plus recovered. Anyway, we had such a desire to give back to community, especially myself, to give back to the people who saved my daughter's life. So I applied to the Music to Life folks at a SWRFA conference. I met them, and I was accepted into the program, and they helped me develop Hope Loves Harmony. What we do there is basically is designed to serve parents of adult children with substance use disorder, though we will serve anyone who's struggling. I do have a community partner in Galveston. As soon as I get grant money, I'm working on that as we speak with help from Music to Life. Anyway, what we do is we do songwriting with the folks who are living with or associated with a loved one who's suffering. And this helps with the healing. Everyone knows that music helps heal the heart, right? So we actually do record the songs that we create, and thus it ends up with a way to invest back into the program by having fundraisers with CDs at the end of the course. So it's
Cheryl,
really cool.
If they want to contact or get in touch with you with the organization, where do they go?
Again, it's on my website, CherylCawood.com. There's a Hope Loves Harmony page on there, and all the contact information is on there, the description of the program, and some of the songs that we've already written with parents.
Very worthwhile project.
Thank you.
Good for you
Thank
for
you
doing
so much.
that. And thanks again for being our guest on Songwriter Studio. We really appreciate spending an hour with us here. And the brand new album, Bullet in the Cabin Wall, is available on your website as well as in person. Please, we do urge the listening audience, if you like what we do here on Songwriter Studio, pick up that phone and dial 713 526-5738. The operators will tell you all about all the gifts we have to offer. Tom Hartman's new book, Larry Winter's Celebration of Life show, the brand new T-shirt that is dedicated to the 419 Lovett Boulevard location. Thank you so much for sticking around with us on Songwriter Studio. Thanks, Lloyd, for doing all he does back in the booth and getting these shows ready for air. We'll see you next week. This is Tom Tranchilla saying goodbye and have a great day.
It's 1 in the morning. Who the hell's calling? I'll be damned, it's you again. By now I've collected your bazillion numbers. I flagged them all, Mr. Heroin. I swear dark clouds are outside my window. It's time to try and get out of here. I know I'm trying to outrun the rain before I'm caught up in a hurricane. I'm hitting the road, can't take another episode. I'm moving on from the pain. I'm trying to outrun the rain. You were my first love, one beautiful